Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Tuesday night chat. It's a very exciting night to be in the room, and this is all about AI tonight. Now, before we jump into our conversation, I'm Kelly Wilkins from myself Reliance. It's so good to be with you, and I just have a few announcements. So we have our barn dance, our country barn dance coming up on the 21st of June at Rose Hill in Sydney. So I'd love you to grab your tickets. The best way to get them is grab a group together of 10, and then you can get them at the best discount. So you can get them for $45 each with a group of 10. But if you can't find a group of 10, just grab a mate and you can get two for 100. That's actually a good deal too. So we'd love to have you there. The theme is flowers and friends. So you can come with, bring a flower, wear one in your hair or your hat or on your clothing, and we're going to give a lucky draw prize and also raffles and prizes on the night. So it is a fundraiser, and so get your tickets early and get in gear for a cool fun dance. Now you don't need to have know how to dance. The caller calls everything out, the strip the willow, the Bondi wave, all the good favorites that you know, and some you don't, and you learn together and meet new people and have a good time. All right. So I want to introduce you to Leanne, our guest tonight. Now, Leanne, I'll bring you on. Leanne's background is in copywriting, and I've known Leanne for a few years now. And when AI became available, copywriters would have been the first people I would have thought that would be nervous and mad. But Leanne took the opportunity, bull by the horns, and embraced it wholeheartedly. And now she's a global expert and trainer on AI, and just released her first book. So we're so excited to have you here, Leanne, because I know a lot of us in the room are a little bit about AI. And so we're going to demystify everything. And so thank you for being here.
Thanks, Kelly. Thanks, everyone. Great to have a little crowd around to hear about AI. I've got lots to share. So we're going to jam-pack this hour or the next 45 minutes. Yeah.
Beautiful. Now, Leanne, the first question that I have for you is, given your background as a copywriter, what makes you excited about AI?
All right, good question. All right, so let's just go a little journey back to early 2023. ChatGPT had come out the November prior, and I was like, oh, okay, what's this thing everyone's talking about? Oh, crap, it can produce words, which is what people pay me to do. And I was like, okay, what do I do when this shiny, free, exciting tool comes on the scene? It's my biggest competitor. Well, I could, bury my head in the sand and panic and freak out, which a lot of copywriters still are, to be honest. Or hang on, why don't I look at the gaps and how my skill set can help here? Because surely it's all about prompts, which is like briefs, instructions for the tool. That's all based on words. And I'm a words person. My whole life I'm in writing, articles and website content, and as a kid, short stories. And I've just published a children's book that my dad illustrated, and I have an AI book that's coming out next month. So I can do words. Surely I can do something here. And I basically took it upon myself to teach myself all about what prompt engineering was. It's kind of foreign term. I'm not into coding or IT or anything. And I'm like, okay, so, it's not just this off-the-shelf product, which is what most of us are used to, right? Oh, you got the Adobe package, you got Microsoft package or whatever it is, right? This is an opportunity right now for non-techie people to actually make a product our own. We can train it up ourselves. And when I learned that, okay, it's pumping out at the moment for most people, robotic, lifeless words. And a lot of people are getting angry with that. But did you know that you can actually train it up to speak like you and understand your brand voice and understand your business and then understand your customers? And after knowing those three things, Then you ask her to do things and the quality is so much better. And this is still a concept that probably like 90% of the population of the world still don't get, right? I follow AI people who still have generic sounding content because they haven't done the proper training. And so I'm like, okay, as a copywriter, I understand the importance of quality output, which means human looking at it and making it sound good. And I also know the importance of brand voice because for those who aren't in the marketing space, it's what sets you apart from everyone else. So if you are sounding the same as everyone, which at the moment, those using AI poorly, they are, if you can work through that and get it to sound like you, it can actually be a really great tool to help you. So if you're a great writer, it can emphasize and amplify your experience and expertise as a writer. But if you don't know how to do writing, then you're still going to pump out rubbish because you don't know what you're looking for. And so for writers, I'm actually saying it's an exciting time because we can either become consultants, which I have, or work on how to be even more efficient with when we are producing words for our clients. And yeah, so that's kind of how it all started, just going, all right, here's an opportunity here. But then as it kind of evolved, and now I'm looking at AI more holistically about like the mindset. So taking a human first approach to AI, and it's not just a tool. We have to see it differently. We have to embed it in our organizations differently. We have to be aware of security and ethical implications and sustainability. And there's actually a lot more at play than this is a tool that could just create human laziness or replace us for the sake of productivity. And yeah, that's what I'm excited about. And like, yeah, I've just written a book about it because I had so much to say that a lot of people are still caught up in the overwhelm or the hype of all the tools. And I'm trying to break everyone through that.
So when you come across people and they're nervous about AI and have had bad experiences, what do you say to them?
Yeah. So look, literally tonight, my parents were over for dinner and my dad's like, oh, can you like talk to your AI? I'm like, yeah. And then I get out the voice feature of ChatGPT and we're having a conversation backwards and forwards. And he's like, they're like fully head in his hands, like, oh my gosh, he's almost 70 and he's freaking out. Going, oh. I said, it's okay. This is all just pre-trained information. Like he then said, oh, what do you know about him? And he gave his name and goes, oh, I don't know that. And so remember, it's all pre-trained. What I just say, don't freak out about it because I compare it to like the internet. We freaked out about the internet, freaked out about social media, and people freaked out about electricity once. It's just a next wave in technological advancement. And it all comes down to using it in a safe way, like an ethical way. There's been people who use social media in a bad way. There's been people doing scam phone calls for many years or emails for many years. It's just like another thing that we have to be wary of, but not alarmed, right? It's just a matter of I'm trying to teach as many people as possible to use it the right way, the ethical way, and keeping the humans in control and not handing it over. Unfortunately, there are things like deep fakes, which is like video stuff where people pretend to be other people and all of that. That's unfortunately going to be a reality. And you have like people say in the chat before, you might have people, creating stupid videos and going through back end ways to get AI to say things like how to create a bomb and things like that. It's been trained, it shouldn't. And like, I'm hoping there's enough positive usage to overtake the negative usage. We just might have to learn ways around it and be wary. Like if you are having a Zoom meeting and something feels off with that person, potentially, yeah, trust your gut. And they could be, it could be AI. And what you can do if you are not trusting someone who is, on the other end of the screen, you can ask them to do things like hold up a piece of paper in front of their face. I had a cybersecurity guy, Terrence, told me all this, because if they hold a piece of paper up and it's a human, the face will be covered. If it's AI, their face will actually come through the paper, or like move your head to the side. And AI, if it is a deep fake, it won't be able to see the side of you because it's probably taken like a snapshot of your front. So that's a little example. Or we'll actually go to more human connection once again. I think we probably will value human contact even more so with all this AI stuff going on. And networking or human face-to-face sales might actually make a comeback. So I just say don't be alarmed by it. I think I haven't used it that much. I'm very conscious about it not replacing me. I think everyone has to be conscious of that too, of just using it in the right way to support them and not replace them.
Okay, so I've got a few questions on that.
Yeah.
So one is, and I love that you explained, some ways that if you're online with someone, how you can tell that they're not them. But we often, can pick it sometimes in Facebook. You can see, oh, that's AI, and possibly as it gets better, it'll be harder to pick. But also, lots of scams and things, and lots of people can get tricked by that. So one question is, how, again, do we make sure that we're not getting fooled?
Yep.
And then, just so I don't forget my next question, it's what jobs do you think we could lose because of AI?
First, look, safety things, I think you kind of touched upon it there. Go with your gut instinct. If something feels off, it probably is off. Like if you get emails that come in asking for big sums of money or like things, and they're like, that client doesn't usually speak to me like that, or something feels off, it probably is. So a lot of the time, just go with your gut. Or if you do have a Zoom meeting and they're like, oh, we'll just transfer that money, or you get a scam phone call. There's been examples of they've got like your daughter's voice or your son's voice, they've been able to emulate it, and then they go, oh yeah, can you just transfer money to me now, right now? Oh, I've got a different bank account, or making up something. If it feels off, just trust your gut. So that's just straight away, and we'll get better and better. Just like we once probably believed the prince really did want money, but now we know those emails are scams. So we'll get used to it and pick up on it, and yeah, there's a whole cybersecurity debate around that stuff as well, or what's coming out. There's going to be AI technologies as well to help stop misuse of AI. AI used for good. It'll happen. In terms of jobs that will come out and things will be replaced, look, I'm big the whole being replaced. I kind of compare it to, we still have bank tellers, we still have an accountants and bookkeepers, even though we've got online accounting software and you can just do online banking and all that stuff, because at times you still want to speak to a human. I know personally for my kids' pocket money, I want to get it all like divvied up in the 10s and the 5s and all that, and I have to go to a human bank teller because the ATM, I'll get confused. I want to be able to speak to someone and just work it out, right? Or like design stuff, same. There's now software like Canva. I'm a massive fan of Canva to design things, or you've had InDesign or Photoshop for years, but you still need a graphic designer who knows how to use that stuff properly. And to an extent I use Canva, but for the serious stuff, I'd go to a graphic designer. And so same with most jobs, things related to AI. I was talking to my PR consultant the other day, who has, she got an advanced copy of my AI book, and she goes, oh, before reading it, I was freaking out. As a PR person, surely someone can just ask AI to do all the stuff that I do. But now she's like, oh, I'm feeling a lot better because you reminded me that I still have all this experience, expertise that I have to bring to the table for AI. And if you're a complete novice, you're not going to be able to know what to ask. And AI really ultimately needs a human to drive it. I've had people as well, like in the events industry. Oh, I've been doing events for 20 years. I'm so worried about someone brand new coming in and using AI to take over. And I'm like, yeah, but the client's going to see right through them very quickly. So, they'll get to the event and not know what they're doing. And, AI couldn't get you out of the actual event itself. So don't undervalue all your experience, expertise that you have. It's just a matter of using the tool to support you, not replace you. And this is why I do get frustrated by people who are just going for the sake of productivity, because that's the buzzword. Look at me, I'm creating all this content, I'm doing all these amazing things. Or I was interviewed for Inside Small Business magazine the other day, online magazine. And she'd asked me about people using ChatGPT as a co-founder or a therapist or a business coach. And I'm like, that really concerns me, because remember, it's all been pre-trained with stuff, and you don't know where this information's come from as well. It could be ethically sourced or unethically, which is most of the case. And it's still not a human. It still doesn't know you completely. You're only giving it a certain amount of information. It's not seeing the big picture. Your family and friends who've known you for a lot longer can probably help you out a lot better to get some ideas from AI, but you ultimately want to go to a human therapist or a human, business coach who has physically done business for 20 years. So that's why I just want you to remember the humans will always be important. I still know humans for certain things. I don't want AI. I'm kind of annoyed my local cinemas have just replaced all the ticket boxes with just help yourself, kiosks now, because I kind of like the experience of talking about, oh yeah, I want to get that movie. Oh yeah, which seat do you recommend? And it's a bit of the fun that's taken away. I just hope that most people in most industries keep the humans on board in some extent. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. So we know a little bit about ChatGPT. Tell us can we best use ChatGPT, and also what are the other forms of AI? Because most of us are not very far beyond chat.
Yeah. Well, okay. So before ChatGPT, we've actually had AI in our worlds for quite a while now. The term was actually coined like 1970 something. So AI has been embedded in things like Siri or Alexa or, Google Home or Maps, and there's all AI in there, right? And even like Spotify or Netflix, there's all, and Amazon, they've all got AI components, which is how it picks up on, oh, you liked that, so here you go, here's something else you may like. It's been our world, but what's different with ChatGPT is that we now have access to it directly, as we can give it input, we can train up, we can do more with it. And as I kind of said earlier, it's not an off-the-shelf piece of software now. We can actually do so much more with it. And this is what freaks people out. Where do I even begin? Because the thing is, the Google, we're used to the Google search bar and the ChatGPT message bar. They look very similar. And a lot of people are like, oh yeah, just give me this, give me that, the same way they would in Google. But it's actually not the best way to use it. The best way to use it is actually, teach it to understand your business, your brand voice, your customer, that basic level. And that's, look, to do that, by the way, I don't believe in exact prompts, because prompts aren't like maths equations. There are no exact ones to get exact results. You could try one prompt today, try the same prompt in a week, and it'll give you something slightly different. So what I say is treat ChatGPT like a junior assistant or a junior team member. And this flips a lot of people's thinking, okay? If you think of it like a junior assistant on their very first day at the office, you wouldn't say, hey, nice to meet you, go create a marketing strategy, go write me this, go give me a business plan, go give me all this information. Because you'd get absolute rubbish back. And that's what a lot of people are doing, without knowing that that's how they're treating it. So what you would really do is you do an onboarding process, which is where I mentioned training the business, the brand voice, and the customer. And that's just literally use whatever words. So go, all right, I now want to train you on everything you need to know about my business. Here's my website. Here's my mission, vision, values. Here's my story. Stuff that would be public knowledge, by the way, you'd be happy to hand out publicly or to a client. So nothing sensitive, nothing about your income and all credit card details, right? This is just public stuff to help it understand your business. Then you can say, great, you can check it, go, oh yeah, can you just confirm what you know about my business now? I've given you that. Remember that. Just something like that. It's just exactly how you would speak to a junior team member. And then you say, brand voice. All right, here are some samples of my writing. Can you do analysis of this and tell me what my writing style is and structure it? And remember this going forward. It's just something like that, like along those lines. Here's some samples, learn from it. Tell me how I write. Okay, then maybe now write me a social media post and check it out, right? And it'll get better and better the more you use it. So now I can write an article in an hour and it sounds like me. I do work with it though. because I've been doing this for 2 years. So it knows how I speak really well. And then you have the customer part. Okay, so now you know all that about my business. Here's my customer, and you describe them, the pain points, all that stuff. Can you remember it? Or this is Mary and this is John, and give it different personas. Remember this when we talk about this going forward. And so this little basic training stuff will put you ahead of so many people who haven't even done that. And then you go, okay, now can you now do the marketing strategy, now the business plan, now this. So if you think of it like a human assistant, it really changes your thinking with how you brief, because you're less likely to be vague. You're more likely to be specific and have clarity. And then when you do get something back that isn't quite right, you realize you assumed it knew something when it didn't. And that's the power in it. We stay in control, and then we just work with it. We collaborate with it, critique it, and then we get the quality output. And then you can either go take it to a Google Doc or a Word doc and make it your own, or you can have arguments or conversations with it to improve it, right? It's up to you what you want to do. But that's basically, in theory, how it works. ChatGPT is my go-to. It is the best one. It's called generative AI. It's the best one of its kind that across all the others. But some people prefer Claude because they say it's a bit more conversational without having to train it up really well. Some say Copilot. I find Copilot's, that's Microsoft's one, isn't that great? They'll get there, but very, very slowly. Gemini, which is Google's one, still a bit glitchy, but all these work the same way. So technically all these you could train up like I just said. The output will just be a little bit different, just based on the quality of the product. I just stick to ChatGPT. It knows me so well. Why do I start from scratch with another one? So I just don't. But yes, and there's so many other tools out there that do different things. But honestly, ChatGPT is what it fills my bucket for what I need, which is usually a starting point. I'm here from procrastinating about a certain thing, whether it's an email that just feels all too hard, or it's I have just time poor. I'm like, oh, I just want a little description, and for that webinar or podcast, oh, well, it knows me very well. Hey, here are some rough notes, put this together. Great. Things that don't need to take up brain space. But my book I wrote, that was very important to me. I used AI occasionally. Oh, can you just draft me 2 to 3 sentences to kickstart this section? Because I didn't know where to start. And then the human took over, and it came up with some chapter names for me when I just was stuck, and or questions for interviews. But ultimately I've taken over from there. I haven't let it run rampant, and I don't use a lot of other AI tools, to be honest. I use Otter, which is like transcribing like Zoom chats and things. It's not brilliant, but it's halfway decent. You can kind of work it all out. There's others like Fathom that do the same thing. I play around some image tools. I mean, ChatGPT does image stuff now. I like the Meta one, just, WhatsApp or Messenger. Canva is very, very, very slowly getting there, but I just like Canva. Usually they're pre-existing images and galleries. So I don't use it a lot, which you'd think would be surprising considering this is what I do. But I think a lot of the time people get overwhelmed with all the different tools, and they spend so much time playing around with them, and it's meant to make them more productive, but it's actually the anti-productive thing to do. But yes, anyway, I had a big rant there. Better than DeepSeek. Don't get me started on DeepSeek. Oh, it's just on the chat.
I haven't played around with the images on chat. Are they? I like that it prompts me sometimes though. Is it like, would you like an image with that? And I'm like, nah, I've already created one on Canvas, so I haven't asked it to. But that would be a fun thing to do.
Ironically, whenever it's asked me, oh, would you like me to create an image for that? It's done a dodgy job almost every time. Funny story. Look, there's a whole LinkedIn debate, and I see this across my feed about the M dash, like EM dash, which is the long dash. And it's one of the signals, I guess, that it's AI generated content, because it's just everywhere in it. And everyone's complaining about M dashes. And my colleague and I made up a song like Hanson Mbop M dash, and we had some fun with lyrics around some plagiarism things, but anyway. And then it said, "Oh, would you like us to create, or ChatGPT, would you like me to create an image for like karaoke for you?" I'm like, all right, yeah, karaoke, okay, go ahead, why not? And then it literally gave me this rectangle, like ready for a TV screen, with I was like bright purple background with some. It was trying to make it 90s with some squiggles, and then it literally said karaoke background, and I'm like, what am I gonna do with this? So I have all these funny things that, or even like today, I shared a post actually on LinkedIn. If anyone follows me or connects with me, you'll see it. I asked it to create an image of me, based on everything you know about me. Create an image of me driving a car, smiling on the right side of the car because I'm in Australia. And then it gave me a photo of a man. And I'm like, I've been using this for 2 years. I've trained it up so well. How did it get that wrong? So I put a little amusing post up going, "Dear Chatty, we've known each other for 2 years now. I thought you'd know me by now," and just shared screenshots of it getting completely wrong. So it's still not great. There's times where I asked it to create some images, and it's, decent, but I'm still not relying on it. I still prefer my Canva.
Yeah. So a new thing that's come past my desk now just a couple of times is something called AI agents.
Yep.
Yeah. Tell us, what is that and how are people using it?
Yeah, so there's 3 levels to AI agents. It's kind of evolution. So there's automation, and people are probably comfortable with automation. It means, you just pre-program something to, send out a sequence through your MailChimp or whatever automatically, or something, do X, then Y will happen just because you schedule it in, right? So there's automation. Then there's AI automation, which goes a little bit step further. It can kind of think for itself, but not really. It's still based on the instructions you give it in the back end. And then AI agents is like that step further, where it does that they're meant to actually think for themselves. Still based on what you trained it, but for example, if you've asked it to write an article for AI automation, you might say, "Oh, always go to these 3 sources." But with an AI agent, if it can't find what it wants in those 3 sources, it knows to then go elsewhere. Like, it kind of thinks beyond because you've trained up that way. That's still evolving. Beginning of the year, everyone's like, "Oh, 2025 is going to be the year of AI agents," but I still haven't seen them been successfully implemented anywhere. And I literally saw a post, I think, on LinkedIn yesterday, of saying someone said, "It's all a ruse. AI agents are nowhere near ready to take control of anything." And I do talk about this in my book. I do worry about, "Oh, look, I can sack these whole teams because we have AI agents." Like this, I saw a demo once of like content being created. All right, one agent does the research, then it passes on to the next agent, which then writes the heading for the article, and then it goes to the next agent, which writes the article. The next agent fixes up all the SEO, like search engine optimization. The next bot repurposes the article into social media. The next bot, and it was like, that's cool in theory, but I just wouldn't trust it with my content and my livelihood and my business to do all that without me being involved in the process. And I'm involved in the process, I might as well just use ChatGPT and just done it without all that fuss. So it sounds great in theory, but I do worry about humans being replaced and just letting these bots take over, forgetting their human clients or their human team members actually want human interaction. And that's kind of the ironic thing. Everyone's focusing on their own productivity and how they can save time than themselves, and forgetting the impact on those around them. So like literally I've been in a training session with a marketing team, and right in front of their boss, one of the team members said, "So my manager, she keeps giving us briefs for projects using AI, and it takes me so long to work out what the brief is. I end up rewriting it anyway." And it was a perfect example of manager thinks she's saving time. How good's this? But actually adding more time to a team member who has to try and decipher what this was on about. And that's obviously not helpful. So that's something to keep in mind too, that you might think it's really helpful for you, but is it helping your team? Or is it actually affecting your brand if it's going externally? Yeah.
Mm. Now, this is all really valuable for me because as a business owner and, I use this information a lot. I just want to throw it to the audience. Um, how you can type it in the chat. How have you used ChatGPT in your area? Maybe you're not in business. Maybe have a boss. Maybe you're a parent. How are you? What questions do you have based on that? And also then back to while people are coming up with their questions, Leanne, how do you see this working for our children in the future? And when do you think it's a good time to introduce kids to AI? Because, inevitably, and my older teenagers are using it differently to the younger kids in the family. And also, when is it too early? How do we get them prepared for, the next level of interactions and
Yeah. Well, that's it. That's definitely a Pandora's box there, because this is the thing. Schools and universities are going to have to catch up, because AI is now going to be in their world. When they get into the workplace, their managers are going to expect them to understand AI. But at the moment, schools are still saying, don't use it, don't use it, don't use it, don't use it, don't use it. And this is the problem, because you can't just, they can't just bury their heads in the sand and go, yeah. So what I actually compare it to is a bit like, back when like the calculator came out, maths and science, for a long time, you're doing maths and science exams or assessments or whatever, you have to show you're working out. And I think with ChatGPT, it's going to be, or similar AI, it's going to have to be the same. You're writing an essay, you're doing a written piece. If you're using AI, you have to explain how you used it and why. Critique the process. Okay, I gave it this prompt because blah, 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 blah. I use these resources to train it because blah, blah. I critiqued it and changed it because, or it could be copy it over to your Google Doc and you're tracking all the changes that you did from the AI content. It needs to evolve something like that, because that's, as humans, we need to keep that critical thinking skill. I was talking to someone the other day, it was actually based in Perth, for the Perth people. She focuses on critical thinking, and she's written a book coming out soon, actually called The Human Edge: Critical Thinking in the Age of AI. And we had this chat. She found me going, oh no, I'm sorry, your business name is the same as my book. Okay, that's fine. We can actually collaborate. I think the youth need to understand about critical thinking, keeping it at the forefront at all times with AI, and not losing creativity either. Like, if you're going to use AI to help with the images and videos, you still need to know the initial concepts of what makes art or what makes a good photo, and know how to prompt it. And you need to and know how to assess, is that good or whatever. Look, I've got two young kids too. One's in year 6, one's in year 3, 2 girls. And I have actually said to them before, like the older one, oh, you need help with this speech. We can ask ChatGPT to help you out a little bit. No, I don't want to use it. Okay. She's not interested. She didn't want to cheat. Okay, it's not cheating, it's just getting ideas started. But okay, that's fine. I respect that. And we did something for Girls Tech Day, AWS thing, end of last year, and she actually helped me out and had a ball. We're just writing stories with random words that the kids gave us, and got ChatGPT to do it. And that was a bit of fun. But I did say 3 important things to the kids, and if those who have young kids or grandkids, I'd pass this on. I'd say, you would never get a friend to do your homework for you, would you? No. So don't get AI to do your homework or do things for you, but you can be in a project and collaborate, right? You can work as a team. That's what you want you to do with AI. So that was the first thing I'd say to all the kids, in a way that they'd understand it. Some adults need to know that too. And then say, it's also, for security purposes, don't share mum and dad's credit cards or where you live. Just like, they're being taught this kind of cyber safety in schools now anyway, but same thing. And then also, the other thing I said to it was, which is good for adults too, to say please and thank you to your AI, because I think, look, there's been something recently came out about, we're using up water and energy by saying please and thank you to our bots. But I have this in my book too, actually. I feel very strongly about using manners with AI. One is the joke that, oh, when the robots take over, they'll remember I was nice. But there's also, it's trained to respond like a human, and humans respond better to politeness and manners. So if we are nice to it, it will give us better quality output. And that's actually been proven. So rather than shouting demands, say, please provide me this. And oh, thanks for that. That was great. Giving it positive feedback actually helps the training too. So it's all very positive. And I look, my personal reason for it is that it's just a good habit to stay in, especially when AI becomes more part of our life. We might just soon be pick up our phones all the time, just like going, hey, give me this, give me that. We already are to an extent with Siri, but a bit more. You want to stay in the habit of saying please and thank you to the AI. So then when you turn next to you, to your family member, your friend, your colleague, that you will continue speaking with respect, and you don't have to go, oh, hang on, I'm not talking to a robot now. And if you have been talking to your bot all day, that could be a hard little switch. So I just say it's a good natural habit. Write how you'd speak to a real human and just keep that consistency. So that's what I've been teaching to my kids, but I'm really curious to see where it does go. I'd like that to be the topic of my next book with AI and youth, not just education, but also socially. I saw a report the other day, research about 2000 Gen Zs were interviewed and 75% said, yeah, I'd marry my AI. And you're like, oh, it's not even a human. So there'll be a bit of education around that. Like, it's not real. It's yeah, may seem real, but it's not. And keep in touch with reality. But yeah, I'm really curious to see where it evolves. I know schools are putting in it's called EduChat. They're trialing it at the moment, which is like a safe way to use AI in schools, whether it's secure and also teaches good habits. It's a whole program. I'm really keen to suss that out. But yeah, with young kids, I'm really curious to see where it goes and hope that they develop good habits with it.
Yes, very interesting. It's we're in that space now, aren't we, where this it hasn't fully developed, and so there's this little space where I think those that get on it quickly can really excel, and those that, because it's one of those things that's like when the camera came about, and the digital camera, there was a space between taking old school photos and the digital camera, and people were like, photographers are like, that is not a photo. If it's digital, it's not a photo. You know, there was this conversation. It's like, is it real? Is it not real? And then those that took off with the digital, you know, were able to navigate it beautifully. And those, and like myself, I was like, couldn't keep up with the wedding scene. I used to take wedding pictures, if anyone didn't know. And so the transition stopped for me there. And so like I was old school film. And so this is like that same threshold now that we're in, and seeing where it can go, and all the uses, and, you know, are we nervous about it? Do we take it on? Do we feel like that if we use it too much, then it's going to take over our personality? Yeah, so, but I really love that you've shared with us this really, as you say, the human approach to managing AI in our life, and it really isn't going to go away. You really can't put it back in the box.
Yeah.
It's really here to stay now, and so it's important that we learn how to manage it and see it for what it is, and, you know, have that healthy caution, but not be scared of it. So, but one of the things that you did say was that you talk to your AI. So how does that work?
Yeah, a lot. Most of the time I do just type it and just, you know, oh, this is what I want, and just going through all the massive thing. With ChatGPT, I have to clarify if there's a paid one or the free one also has access to it. But there is a feature where you can talk to it, and basically you pick a voice from a series of different voices, that one that resonates with you. I picked one that's called Sol, S-O-L, and now I just call my ChatGPT Sol because well, that's what the name was, and I like it. And so literally it talks to you. Let me see if I can get it to do something, a little demo. Let's see. Hey Sol, how are you today?
Hey, thanks for asking.
Awesome. I'm just doing a little talk about AI. Is there anything you'd like to say about that topic?
Absolutely. Emphasis is that AI is a powerful tool to enhance human capabilities, not replace them. It's all about finding the right balance between automation and the human touch. Encourage your audience to view AI as a partner that can streamline tasks, provide insights, and free them up for more creative and strategic work. Anything specific you'd like me to highlight?
No, that's great. Thank you.
You're welcome. If there's anything else you need, just let me know.
Maybe you can ask it if it's a paid version, if we need to upgrade to pay for it, or is it part of ChatGPT?
Oops.
You have
I
to
got out of
activate
it.
it.
Yeah. Oops. Oh, what happened there? Hey, can you just confirm, is this voice feature only for the paid version, or can we also do this in the free one?
Sure. The voice feature is currently available for both free and paid users, so you can use it no matter which plan you're on.
Thank you for confirming that.
My pleasure.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Very cool.
There you go. And all that's as a transcript as well on my phone. So it can be really handy if you are walking, for example, and like you're walking your dog, or you're going for, somewhere you're not near a computer and you have this great idea. You can just kind of say, hey, what are your thoughts on this? And then you have a little conversation, and then you come back to your account and it's saved there in transcript, which is really handy. I've done that. Well, I was just doing it tonight with my dad. I'm like, oh, just tell me more about book launches and what should I do for this? And what do you think about doing that? And we're having a chat. Now I know that's all saved there. Yeah.
So good. Rose asked, are you concerned about privacy?
Yeah. So privacy is a bit of an issue. I basically say don't give it any information that you wouldn't put on the website, wouldn't put publicly. If you do want it to train up on something where it does contain private information, just block out names and any sensitive stuff, and then give it, or say, hey, I want to talk about business X or client X, and give it the scenario so it doesn't know its name. That's a good way around it. There's something called an AI policy, which will probably be up there with terms and conditions and privacy policy and AI policy. And that will, I've actually partnered up with a lawyer to help people get the word out that they need it. And basically what it does is it tells your clients about privacy, security with their data, how you use it around AI. And also for your team members, you can set rules of when AI can be used and can't be used, and what can be shared and uploaded and everything like that. And it just makes sure everyone internally, externally, are on the same page with it. But yeah, it can be an issue. I've had a lawyer, a legal firm say, oh, we're interested to do training with you, but we want to find a tool that's more secure so they can upload court cases without blocking things out. And I found an Australian-based software that is actually secure, unlike ChatGPT, which you can't be 100% sure that your data is protected and it won't go externally to like the government or anything. But this product is Australian, so it's not under the USA Patriot Act like ChatGPT is. And so therefore they've trained it, created it so all your information stays in that tool. No one else has access to it. It is secure. Even these guys that run the software, SI Solutions, even they don't have access to what you've given it. So these kind of things are going to come out more and more. And this is another reason why I say don't just play with any of the tools out there, because security is often the last thing that people worry about, because especially if it's free, because they say if it's free, then you're the product. So what are they, collecting in terms of data then? Yeah.
Andrew asked, does screen capture of your data get captured like it does in phones?
It could very well, because there's a feature in ChatGPT where you can actually, say, hey, and show a video. What am I looking at now? Can you explain this to me? And we've had things like Google Lens and stuff and Decipher. There could very well be, it could do that kind of thing. So for good and bad, like if you want to just take photos and all right, based on the, like for example, for good usage, I take notes. I still old school meeting notes, and then I'll take photos and send to ChatGPT going, "Can you please transcribe this?" And it's actually pretty good with my messy writing. Like I'll get it 80% of the time. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I don't blame you for getting that word wrong, but it works out the context, and then I can then upload those notes to CRM. So that is a way that's been really helpful. Yeah.
So, just type in the chat for Rose the name of the lawyer
Yeah,
that.
it's called Annabelle, and it's through ASI Solutions. So I'm partnering up with those guys. Just put in the chat for you. I'm partnering up with them because I can see the great potential and want to be able to push this out to clients. So if you are keen on a demo, just let me know, and I'll introduce you to Frank and Hein. And they're based in Sydney, around the Hills District, actually, where I am. And we haven't properly gone through that. Did the demo last week to the legal firm, and now we're just waiting for the next steps and quoting and everything. Yeah.
So, Leanne, for those of us who want to know more about how to use ChatGPT effectively, or to learn more about AI, you've got a free demo coming up. Can you tell us about that?
So I'll share it in the chat box. So I did this last month. I'm doing a series of free demos of how I use AI to do something. Last month I did two. One was an encore sessions of how I write LinkedIn articles in an hour in my brand voice, and they went off. I had 200 people who registered for it because it was legit my process. And this Thursday at lunchtime, morning for those, the other side, it's basically how I use AI to build lead magnets. And that's from come up with the idea. All right, give me 5 ideas of lead magnets that'd be suitable for my business. Okay, then can you now help me draft this? Great. Now can you create the email sequence? And it's been that process. So it gives you a bit of a big picture. It is mainly a demo, like won't allow time to pause and people to ask a lot of questions as they do it. But you'll obviously get an idea, and we can always take offline and do one-on-ones or something afterwards. But Kelly and I will talk about doing something with the group anyway later on. But yeah, come along. And if you can't attend for whatever reason, a replay will be sent out as well for those that do register. So get onto that, and I hope to see you guys there.
Awesome. So the link is in the chat, but I'll add that to down to our description. Also, if people were in our community were interested in learning more, would we be able to put together, do you think, a workshop?
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah.
And out of the people who are watching right now, put a yes in the chat if you would like to learn more about what Leanne's talking about for yourself. Okay, we're getting some yeses coming through. And I see that Wilma has a raised hand. Wilma, did you have a question that you wanted to ask?
Yes, I wanted to ask Leanne, can she see any possibility of using ChatGPT in my business, which is very heart-based, very one-on-one based. It's you only get your leads or get your contacts from people that you know or hear about, or they've heard about the company and contact you in that way. But it's very personal, and they would be talking about like health issues, but to get them get to talk to the people in the first place, it would be like akin to, in a way, like cold calling. And I'm wondering if there is if there would be a use for it. Could, like what people's reaction might be if they think, oh, this is like a bot or something asking me this question, or would it be able to be personalized sufficiently, sort of?
Yes.
I
So
don't even
in
know how to
theory,
ask the question.
No,
really.
I know what you mean. Yeah. So yeah, there's things like phone agents where you can get like voice activate, like bots calling, doing cold calls or accepting inbound calls. I personally think it's better for accepting inbound calls, because if someone's calling and they're already interested, and if it's to just help find their answer quickly or pass them on to a human, I think that's great. Where it can become an issue, I guess, is the external cold calls, which some people are like, oh, how good is this? We can get rid of a whole call center and get these bots to do it. I don't personally like getting a cold call from a human. So what I really appreciate a bot doing it, I think it'd be like, that could actually create more ick factor. Unless there was some sort of human referral, or they knew they were going to be called. Like if they did outreach first and then the call came in going, we saw you put through, the contact form, just want to find out a few details and book you in for a chat with a human, like that kind of thing. I also believe in transparency. So I would not want that bot to be trained in my voice, although they can't do Australian accents very well.
No, I wouldn't either.
I wouldn't want to pretend to be me. I'd always say, hey, I'm Leanne's AI bot assistant, Sarah, because I'd always wanted to have that transparency. But I would always want them to initially make contact, because I just don't think it'd be well received to have a bot doing a cold call.
Yes. No.
Yeah. So I know some people are trying that, but I know I don't like it. I mean, there might be a bit of a cool factor, like I'm talking, hang on, I think this is a bot. Oh, it's kind of cool, play around with it. But the second or third time, and then afterwards, they'd be like, no, I'm just hanging up on this thing like I would when I get those, that pause and know it's an overseas call.
Yes.
Call center. Yeah.
I think, though, Wilma, knowing your business, how you could use it is to help you to create a 14-day social media plan, for instance, or asking it questions like, tell me how can I meet more people in a more organic way? And you could just give it prompts like that. Like you would ask your business coach those questions. You can ask ChatGPT those questions and it would give you, and then I actually did that today and it came back. And now would you like me to help you to write a script for your post? Yes, please. Thank you. I'll take that. So it can be very beneficial those ways.
Yeah, thanks, Kelly. Thanks, Leanne.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, but that's where Leanne comes in to play, was like, how do you create those really good prompts and things to say, and also that politeness. I hadn't considered reasons for why you'd be polite, so that's really, really cool. I think what we will do, Leanne, is we'll talk more about how we can create a workshop together, and maybe on there'll be 2 Tuesdays in the school holidays that we won't have a guest speaker on, so that might be a good time to do a workshop.
Yeah, sure.
Because that people used to coming on a Tuesday night, and so that might be a good one to do. So as I really think that we there's so much to learn in the world of AI, and there'll be so many people in our community who would really appreciate that opportunity to learn from you. So. Wow, we have been really blessed tonight. Now, is there anything else that you think that we should know that we haven't talked about, just to wrap up?
I think I covered all the real key things. I think it's just, don't let yourself get overwhelmed with it. Like just take baby steps. Just like, okay, I have to write this email, and just play around with, hey, can you help me reply to this email? Or you have to write a social media post, or you even want to put together a recipe, based on some certain ingredients. I did it tonight. I said, I'm making a baked salmon poke bowl. What kind of sauce should I make? And then it gave me, soy sauce and sesame and rice vinegar. And it actually was a really nice sauce with it. So just if you haven't already, just dabble those little things. Don't feel like you have to throw yourself in completely or become reliant on it. I prefer you don't become reliant on it, but you do need to kind of just get your head around what it's all about and what it's capable of. Because I guess I say it's like learning a new language. You prefer to learn with a toddler, which it is right now, and to learn kind of at the same pace than speak to a professor who might speak in a whole more experienced way. So get on board now while it's still a baby, and just get comfortable with it.
Yeah, I do think that it's important because knowing that it's not going to go away, then, you do want to just be a little bit on board with the game so that you're not really left behind. And, smart usage can really benefit individuals in so many ways. And just also knowing the language can help you protect you when against the deep fakes and things, and knowing that that's a real, concern in the world, and we don't want to be deceived. And so it's super important that we just get a little bit ahead of the game while we still can.
Yeah, agreed. And I'll put it in the chat box if anyone wants to connect with me on LinkedIn. That's kind of my main space, and you can see all my musings and my, like I mentioned before, that funny post I put up with the male photo and when I'm a female. So I share a little bit AI, but it's not, I don't share that tools and technical stuff. It's more the human first and musings and the reminders of, basically I try to break through the noise and tell it like it is. Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, thanks so much for joining us, Leanne, and thanks everyone for being here and asking your questions. Don't forget to get your tickets to the country bush dance. Leanne, do you like a bit of country bush dancing? Have you ever done that?
I was going to say, it reminds me in primary school, we used to have the barn dance and the line dancing, and I used to love those actually. So
I know. I think it's the most Aussie thing to do.
Heel and toe poker.
Yes.
Yeah, that was my favorite. That's one that springs to mind. There's probably others as well, but yeah.
Yeah. So
I love that.
look, and we like to do it at our festival in October. So we're kind of doing it early as a precursor to get people excited about our summit in October. So
nice. That's fun.
yes, it is lots of fun, and you don't have to know what you're doing. But I'm sure we've all done it one time, at least in primary school. So bring back the childhood memories, and really, we're keeping it real. So
Nice.
beautiful.
Right, well, thanks for having me, and thanks everyone. If you have any further questions, reach out through Kelly, but otherwise we'll see if let's get the workshop happening. I'd love to help you out further. We'll do a little demo together, like get your hands dirty and play around with it while we chat.
Yeah, don't forget to come back next Tuesday when we're going to talk to Bill, who's Casey Chambers' dad, and he is our country legend. So talking about country bush dancing, he's a country singer, absolute legend of a guy. We're going to hear some great stories. So we'll see you all next Tuesday. Thanks, everyone. Good night.
See ya. Good night.